And today is Wednesday, October 2nd, and this is the day that Franklin Graham asked for us to have a day of prayer on behalf of our president. So don't know if you had heard that or seen that, but certainly something to get behind. So, all right, Larry, take it away.
All right, how many people are here, Mary Ellen?
We're starting with 7 again.
Well, let me dance just a minute until more get here so I don't have to repeat.
Yeah. All right. In that case, I've been a phone call I got a couple hours ago. Somebody had an interesting dream and was wondering if I had any suggestions on what the dream might mean. And he was in school taking an exam. Nancy Pelosi was the teacher, and he threw his pencil down and went into a heated argument with Nancy Pelosi, saying, "I'm not going to do this. I have a degree already. I don't need this. So I'm not taking your exam. Just go ahead and flunk me." And he said, "What do you think that means?" And it was interesting listening to the story. And then I had to think for a minute. And I said, I think you just had a dream dealing with the fact that we need to start fighting back. So, like you had said, it's time for Trump to go on the offensive. And, he represents we the people. So I had mentioned that to him a day or two ago, and so I think that's what he's reading about. So interesting. All right, we have 23 here, so take it away.
All right, guys. Trump is holding a press conference now, joint press conference with the president of Finland. Of course, the guy from Finland might as well not be there because it's all about Trump. But if you notice, Trump is doing fairly well what I hoped he would. He is going flat into the offensive mode, calling it a coup, stating out loud that Schiff is evil. Heard him say evil. What he's doing to President Trump is evil. He also called the whistleblower, said he was committing treason. Of course, the media is jumping all over him for that. But President Trump is justifying it by saying he's choosing his words well, and he is, and it is a form of treason what the whistleblower has done. And it is good to see. Now, I will tell you, I saw a bit of Pelosi and Schiff's press conference. And if they did not listen to our program yesterday, they should have. Because it sure seems that they did. Because you could tell they're in a panic to get some legislation going on the floor of the House. And it made me wonder if they listened and heard that we're coming after them, or somebody might be coming after them with a writ of mandamus. If they want to avoid a mandamus, they have to start doing things in the business of the people, which they have not been doing. So it's kind of interesting to wonder if they listened to us, which I doubt they did, but they sure have taken steps to address what we're talking about with the mandamus action. Go ahead and get your questions in now. There seems to be a lot of confusion about what is, what isn't, what Pompeo is doing, what he's not doing, what Schiff is doing, what he's not doing. So if you've got questions, get them in. I was told by a friend that heard the program I did with Jason yesterday, and he felt like the information that I gave out on the what I call, or what used to be called, the Cellar Boys, the rogue, or not rogue, but the organization inside the CIA behind all of this, he thought that was incredibly important information. And he had never heard that anywhere else.
Larry, I got contacted also about your having talked about that, and somebody was wondering if that was the Pegasus group that is already out in public information.
No,
Okay.
no.
And then,
This is
go ahead.
what? Well, the Pegasus group and a couple others, those are specific things set up for specific purposes. This group is there to do whatever is necessary. Whatever is necessary. Be it overthrowing the government, it may be assassinations, it could be any of a myriad of things that the American people, if they knew, would not support.
Annette asks, and she hasn't been in the chat in quite a while, so she's asking, is Barr doing anything?
Yes, he's very much doing something.
And Karen's worried that Trump is in massive danger. Think JFK, different Karen from the one you normally talk to.
He is, I feel like, well, I have felt that if he wins re-election, they would have no choice at that point but to kill him. I'm almost changing my opinion there and believe that if they cannot get him effectively knocked out prior to the election, I fear there might be an attempt to kill him. That's just purely my opinion. I have nothing to base that off of, so don't anybody go spreading the word that I'm saying, you know, they're going to kill Trump. I'm not saying that at all. It's my opinion.
Well, you have said, Larry, you've said for 3 years before he even got the nomination, you started saying that if he got the nomination for the candidate for president, that they would have to impeach or worse. You started saying that in July 2016. So,
and you're seeing it come to fruition.
Yeah.
But remember, I don't care what you hear on television. I don't. I don't care what you hear Congress people telling you, Democrats and some Republicans even. I don't care. There is nothing in the in the whistleblower scam that allows him to be impeached. Do not be deceived. He cannot be deceived based off the whistleblower complaint. He cannot. Now, he can be impeached, as I told you, with a subpoena trap. He can be impeached with periphery things around the whistleblower, things to prevent people from testifying, things, this, that, and the other. There are things that could happen around the whistleblower case that could provide grounds for impeachment. But the whistleblower case cannot impeach President Trump. It can't. Now, we've got sort of a situation in that You've got Congress wanting to go at Pompeo, but then they're wanting to go even below Pompeo to his staffers and get them and force them to testify. And folks, that's wrong. That is totally, totally wrong. The Secretary of State is responsible for the Secretary of State's operation. Staffers are not. And they think they can bring staffers in and whip them like they tried to do Lewandowski and others and make them snap and say something that they can use. And Pompeo and Trump know it. So they're going to fight to keep them from being forced to testify. That's good. The bad news is that might be grounds enough for the Democrats to pull the trigger on impeachment, possibly. You have to look at the specificity of the situation. Has anybody got a question?
What do you think about Rudy Giuliani saying he's going to sue Congress? I think it's a pretty good idea to take them to court. That way they're on the defensive.
I had a discussion about that. I will not say with who, but I endorse that 100% because through a civil suit that Giuliani has the right to file, he has standing, so he has the right to file it. He gets discovery. And he can rapidly turn the tables on shifting them through discovery. So it is actually a great move on behalf of Giuliani. Now, you've got to figure first, though, which is what I'm sure he's doing, making sure that he has standing to file such a suit and make sure that he qualifies through Rule 11 with the grounds necessary to file the suit. But I think he does. Now, once again, don't worry about the lawsuit. The lawsuit, as we've discussed over and over and over, is going to be thrown into a rigged court. So you say, well, Larry, if it's going to go into a rigged court, what good is Giuliani filing such a suit?
For discovery.
Discovery. That's right. Get people under oath. Catch them lying. And you see, Giuliani is a master at a perjury trap himself. So let's put the shoe on the other foot for a while. What else?
Jeff hasn't been here in a while and is wondering how your health is. As you can hear, he sounds much better than a while back.
I'm much better than a while back, but I am heading in the wrong way right now, heading in the wrong direction.
Well, that's good.
I do desperately need help. You know, they say a man is worth his hire. Is that what you say, Mario? And man's worth his hire. How does that go?
Yep. That's
well,
it.
Apparently I'm worth nothing because I don't seem to be worth much. But I do need your help. What else you got?
Well, I was just going to add that, you are working so many hours. Folks, he starts on the phone in the morning, and he didn't get off the phone till 11 o'clock last night with what he is working on, whatever he's doing, whoever he's talking to. He can't tell anybody. But this man is just pushing and pushing and pushing, and he deserves our help. and we're here at the beginning of the month. So,
Now, one thing is certain, I'm talking so much that I'm losing my voice. If that gives y'all any idea of the hours I'm spending. And it's all things that are vitally important to you, every one of you. It is.
somebody's offering you a nebulizer if you need one.
Got one. I have one, thank you. Though. What else you got?
That's all we've got right now. Larry Clayman's Freedom Watch channel was just removed from YouTube. He's Ken says he's actively using citizen grand juries to indict Mueller, Comey, and others.
You know, I don't. I wish Larry would not do these citizen grand juries. They are not relevant, number one. They're costing him a lot of money to do. And to be honest, it's meaningless. It's meaningless. I wish he wouldn't do it. We need Larry. We need Larry in other areas. For example, Larry Clayman could lead the charge in going around and helping people that are in districts that a mandamus could be filed. He could go around and help those people. I mean, there are things he could be doing that would have direct bearing and effect on what we need right now. These citizen juries and grand juries just are showpieces, but they are worthless. So anybody that talks to him, I wish you would share with him that we wish he would help us formulate a plan for people to go after writs of mandamus against their congressman. What else you got?
Karen says, hit me up for anything respiratory because that's what she does.
I'm sorry, what?
Karen suggests you can hit her up for anything respiratory because that's what she does. Karen, send me your contact information and I'll put my text.
I need inhalers. I need Ventolin inhalers if she's got any. Did you hear that?
You need some kind of inhaler. I didn't hear what kind.
Ventolin
inhalers.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Karen, text me and let's see what you can do to help. Okay, we got a couple questions. What do you think about John Huber investigating the Clinton emails? Will that go anywhere, or is it another nothing burger?
Well, my opinion, it's nothing. That's not the way to go at it. I'm glad he is going at it, but that's not the way that we need. Now, I can assure you that Barr is very deep in looking into the emails. But Hillary's not off the hook, guys. She's not off the hook. And I will say I may be changing my opinion about Hillary. Since Sanders is having his heart problems, since Biden is going to get in deep trouble soon, look out. Hillary may force herself into this thing. I'm not saying she will, and I'm not saying the DNC and the progressives want her. But, you know, with the Clintons, I've always said they're never done. You got to stick a stake in the heart before they're out of the picture. So beware. I'm seeing things I don't like with her. What else?
It looks
By
like
the way, I've gotten three PayPal things. Latest one from Janet. Thank you, Janet. And then a couple others. I've lost them. I don't have them to see who they were. But thank you, Janet.
and the other two. Pamela says it looks like the deep state have stolen the election, banks, courts, gold, clean air, healthy food, and everything good. How can we possibly take it back?
They have not stolen it yet. I would be lying to say that they're not very well into the process, but they do not have it yet. You know, our victory is simple. It's so simple, it's stupid. It's so ridiculous, it's hard. We must get the soft-based vote for Trump simply to turn out and vote. Under any and all circumstances, they must turn out and vote. And if they do, our country will be saved, at least for a period of time more. We should never take our eyes off of our mission. All this other stuff is important, it's significant. Yes, I know it is. But our mission stays the same. Talk to people. Talk to people. Talk to the people you associate with. Make them know that they must vote. Make them know that if for any reason they do not vote, they do vote. This is the one election where if you don't vote, you did vote, but you voted for the Democrat, whoever that is. Or going to be.
And the vote for Democrat is a vote for socialism.
That's exactly right.
So, Deb,
and don't forget, don't you dare forget that when you're talking to people, make them understand now that whichever Democrat wins the primary, that's a socialist. And they're going to push for a socialist form of government within 6 months to a year. Don't forget to point that out because that's true. And today, we've got all of them in this primary saying that they're Democratic Socialists. Once the primary's over, I promise you, once the primary's over, whoever comes out and wins for the Democrat, they're going to disavow socialism. They're going to say they're not socialism. They are.
And claim we misunderstood them before the primary?
I'm sorry, what?
Will they claim we misunderstood what they said before the primary?
They'll just not talk about it. And the media will not dare to bring it up. They won't. The media will do everything to persuade people that, you know, such and such person, you're conspiracy nuts to believe they're socialists. Even though they claim they were Democratic Socialists in the primary, they'll still say they're not. The media. What you got?
Okay, Deb suggests talking to Jason about talking to Clayman. Tony asks, why do we have so many foreign troops in our land? Russians, Chinese. Do you know why they're here? Are they here to take maybe take over or look at our government as a fall from within?
Well, I don't, right presently, the foreign troops in this country are supposedly here as a part of joint exercise efforts. They are not a part of an army on the ground, foreign army on the ground in America to take us over. That's what is supposed to be what we're to believe. I don't know that I believe that. Now, since you bring that up, I'm sorry, but I need to make a point. Last night or yesterday or whenever I saw it, China had a military day parade. And guys, I saw something that scared me to death. They had a plane, a drone, a huge drone, one that could carry 6 nuclear missiles in the nose cone of this plane. And they could all be fired at separate targets accurately. The show of force and the show of technology that I saw China have was incredible. This plane, they say, is hypersonic, can achieve hypersonic. That's why it's a drone. It can go so fast, so quick, that no human being could take the G-forces it can cause. There was a man on talking about it. I do not know who he was, but I was proud of him because he pointed out to the host. The host asked, where are they getting the money to build this incredible technology, these weapon systems? And he said, from us. And guys, he's the first person I've heard publicly other than me tell you that or say that. It's scary. It is scary. And I needn't remind you, but in NAFTA GATT, when that was signed.
When what was signed?
NAFTA and GATT. It's in the contract. It's in the agreement that China cannot use any of the revenue of this new trade business that they were going to get with America. They could not use any of it to go towards building up their military.
Duh.
And now we find that since the beginning of our trade relations with China, they've been devoting 50+% of the revenue from us to building up their military and their weapon systems. But I'm telling you, you can look it up on the internet. Their parades, you need to see that parade. It'll scare you to death at the technology they've got and the weapons they've got. It's massive, massive.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of the parade last night, and it was pretty amazing.
Well, think about this. Their technology and military and weapons make Russia look like a third world country's military. I swear to you, it's that impressive. Anyway, what else have you got?
Well, I was going to, is this still, are they still working on what Clinton gave them? Because that was...
Yes.
a lot of years ago.
Yes.
But he gave them the basics and they could take it and run with it and come to where they are.
All right. What Bill Clinton did is he gave the license to manufacture the onboard computer to all of our fly-by-wire aircraft. Our most modern jets that do not fly by hydraulics, they fly by electronics, by wire. All of those, believe it or not, the computer system that controls them, China builds. China builds them. Now, President Trump, I know, because we've talked about this very thing, is trying to maneuver out of that agreement. But he has not been able to do it as of yet. But Clinton, you talk about treason, you talk about an act of treason, that's just about as serious an act of treason as you can get, aiding and abetting our enemy. It's hard for me to believe that China, in building these computer systems, are you kidding me that they don't put a little system inside it with the proper coding that they could put them all where they can't fly? It's dangerous. It's scary. But Bill Clinton did that. And it still exists today.
Wow. Gloria said, this just in, House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy slammed Schiff, tweeting, breaking, Chairman Adam Schiff just got caught orchestrating with the whistleblower before the complaint was ever filed. Now we know that happened.
I told y'all that already.
Right.
What you're going to find out is what I have already told y'all, that the complaint, you know, they put out rumors that the complaint was done by Schiff's team, his legal team. That is not true. The complaint was written by Schumer's legal group, Chuck Schumer. Now,
yep.
But why would Schumer's group do it instead of Schiff's group? They did it so it can't be found out. It just so happens that I was able to find out. This was all planned well, weeks before it ever came out. It was a setup. It was a fake. It was drafted. This is the sealed dossier all over again. Instead of the sealed dossier, which was all fabricated and fake, it is the complaint from the whistleblower. It's the same process. What you got?
Gloria said it's in the New York Times that Schiff knew and advised the whistleblower on how to proceed, got a big Clinton attorney and big donor to Biden to help.
Now say that again.
Hang on. New York Times says Schiff knew and advised the whistleblower on how to proceed, got a big Clinton attorney and a big donor to Biden to help.
I agree with all of it, but the last you said, Clinton attorney and supporter to Biden.
Yeah,
to help.
Yeah, to help is what the New York Times is reporting. I heard that yesterday, actually.
Well, don't know about the Biden part. The other part, yes.
True News is reporting that the DNC server is in Ukraine. And they may have been, DNC may have been running a spying operation on Trump from Ukraine to avoid wiretapping laws.
That's one of the things, let me see if I can tell you about it without getting in trouble. Hypothetically, That's one of the things that Giuliani found out when he was investigating Biden and his son during this ordeal. That's the best way I can say it. That's verified by Giuliani. I guess I can say that.
That he found out about the whistleblower plan?
No, he found out that they were trying to spy in Ukraine to avoid
Oh, got it.
the laws prohibiting spying for Americans to look at Americans, for the CIA to be investigating and spying on Americans. They went backdoor it through the Ukrainian government and, well, tried to go through it.
Okay, John's asking about Don Jr. Running after Trump's second term, and you answered that yesterday and said that he would probably be a good candidate.
Yes, I did. I answered it yesterday, but I'll say it again. Don Jr. has been trained in the business world by his father, President Trump. So therefore, he's had a good teacher in the world of business. But unlike President Trump, when he took over as president, he had zero knowledge of politics in Washington style politics. He knew nothing of it. Joyce sent 10. Thank you, Joyce. So Trump's son will have the added advantage of not just having President Trump's business acumen, but he will also have been through all of this experience with the Washington political mess. And he will be very well prepared, and I believe would be an excellent follow-up to President Trump. And I believe if President Trump gets another term and then his son backs him up, we stand a good chance of finally getting rid of the deep state. What you got?
Do you think if Trump wins a second term, he might try to get rid of the Federal Reserve?
I don't know. I know a lot of his second term agenda, and most of it is based off of trying to attack the judicial system and straighten it out. I don't know if he asked me, which of course he wouldn't, but if he were to ask me, I think I would tell him the first thing, you need to devote your energy to the judicial branch, because that's what's got us screwed. And don't try to pick too many battles of size at the same time. And going after the judicial branch, trying to clean it up, while at the same time going against the Federal Reserve would be rather tough. Almost beyond tough.
Cameras informs us the IG department is at the Capitol behind closed doors talking to politicians.
Yes. And everybody, at least everybody involved with President Trump and his team, are concerned about what he's doing there, what he's saying, what he's being tricked into saying.
James says, when a coup is attempted to take over the country and our backs against the wall and the country's in danger of being overrun, can't Trump declare martial law with time limits until the traitors are arrested?
He could declare it. However, if it is not triggered by the two automatic triggers. If the president tries to initiate martial law, he has to go to Congress to get it approved. Remember the rule of the FEMA provisional government. There is a way that it is triggered automatically and nobody can stop it. It happens on its own. And that's when there are 5 major riots in 5 major cities at one time. Or a major earthquake that affects the whole country, earthquake or something that affects natural disaster that affects the whole country. That gets triggered automatically and nobody, not Congress, not the appellate court, nobody can stop it. Now, for President Trump and or any president to declare martial law, he has to go to Congress for approval. And of course, he would never get that approval. If he tried to do it with an executive order, of course, it would be shut down by the Ninth Circuit. So I guess that answers the question. No, he can't just declare martial law.
Okay, James, actually, he wrote this at the very end yesterday after we had stopped, after you'd gotten off. The Manchester Rat Terrier was originally bred to kill rats during the Great Plague. They'll even chew through concrete to kill a rat. Would Trump choosing this dog be a great symbol for the White House and crisis?
I don't know. Symbolism, possibly. But I don't. Realistically, I would think it means nothing.
Okay, Jason said, would you consider the CIA and the rest of the shadow government to be essentially owned by corporate interests?
Now read that again, please.
Do you consider the CIA and the rest of the shadow government to essentially be owned by corporate interests?
In part, yes, but I believe the CIA, the special group, the Cellar Boy operation, or whatever they call it now, that group, I believe, since it's controlled, theoretically, it's supposed to be controlled by a joint Senate and House Intel Committee. It's going to be more controlled by the Progressive Council than, quote unquote, corporate America. But if you look at the makeup today of the Progressive Council, a lot of the Progressive Council is made up by the major corporate people, owners. So interpret that how you will. I guess bottom line, I'm saying yes, both directly and indirectly.
Okay. Tamara saw the president's press conference and said he's really upset.
Said he's really upset?
Well, that's not the word she used, but I'm not going to use her word, so yes.
So she said really pissed?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he is, and he should be, as should every one of us here on this call. When they're attacking President Trump the way they are, I beg you all to remember, they're not attacking Trump, they're attacking us. Trump represents us.
Yep. While the House is on recess, couldn't the President, State Department, and Barr start the exposure and arrest?
Now say that again.
While the House is on recess right now, Congress is on recess, can't the President, the State Department, and Barr start the exposure and arrest?
No. Nope. It's not a matter of starting the exposure and the arrest. As far as starting the exposure, they can do anything they want, but the mainstream media is not going to touch it. Fox News, y'all should know by now, except for maybe Hannity and Tucker and Ingram, they're not going to touch it. And as far as starting the prosecution, you still have the problem with the court system, so you can't start the prosecution and go into a biased jury pool and crooked judges yet. Their being on recess has no impact on that. What else?
Do you support Netanyahu and Israel?
Yes. I've known Ben for 30 years. Been with him with the Mossad. And there is no man more true to Israel than Ben Netanyahu. And Israel, believe it or not, and I'm not just... take the biblical implication out for a moment, which it is very, very critical, but taking it out. If we did not have Israel to be our guardian, so to speak, of our interest in the Middle East, we would be in dire trouble in that region. And then when you deal with the biblical significance, Israel's important, very important. Isn't it, Mary Ellen? Because I don't know that Bible stuff.
Yes, sir. And you know more than you admit. Do you think Hillary or the DNC had Seth Rich killed?
What? I think Hillary and the DNC have what?
Did Hillary or the DNC have Seth Rich killed?
And they have what? I couldn't understand.
Did they order Seth Rich to be killed?
Oh God, I don't know. Can't prove it, so I can't say.
No, Tim, it's not Pastor Ernie Sanders. It's Bernie Sanders, the presidential candidate. Bernie is having heart surgery. Do you think Trump will cut foreign aid to countries that don't put America's interest first?
I think, no. I know he is trying, but when it comes to cutting aid that has already been committed, it's not that easy for him to cut it out. But have no doubt about it, he would love to do it. He wants to do it, but so many countries have programs that the aid packages are already committed to by Congress. And he can't just intercede and shut them down without significant reasoning. What you got? Look, it's been this way for years and years and years. And it has made no sense for years and years and years as to why. Why would America, why would our government take our taxpayer dollars and instead of spending them on our infrastructure, on food for the poor, housing for the poor, all the things that we could do for Americans, why on earth would we give the millions and billions of dollars to countries that literally hate our guts and do everything they can to fight against us? Tell me how that makes sense to anybody.
Yeah. Tamara wants to know if will the small CIA group go down with the deep state when they go down?
They, I don't know. I would like to think they would, but I don't know. Remember, they are buried so deep with a cloak of secrecy. And I'm talking about, by law, the secrecy that they enjoy. That I don't know. They need to be. I think they need to be disbanded. I think if there ever was a purpose that they were ever formed, at least now I think they should be disbanded. But I quite honestly don't know who has the power to disband them. Since you cannot prove that they exist by design, since I don't know who would have the power unless it would be the joint committee. But other than that, I don't know.
Have you ever, we've got, can't we shut the CIA and FBI down and clean house?
I don't, Marion, I don't know. Well, first off, the CIA has legitimate purposes. They do. It's not the corporate CIA, I guess what you call the corporate, the CIA as a whole. It's not the CIA corporately. It's this group, and I want to say rogue group, but they're not rogue. Rogue implies that they're just doing stuff on their own. I assume that they're being assigned these different tasks, and down to and including a coup to get rid of President Trump. I don't believe that they are involved in a coup to overthrow our form of government, because these guys would be smart enough to know that if we become a socialist form of government, then they might be done away with. So, but they do want President Trump gone because he threatens their very existence. They need the system intact. They need the deep state running things like it's been running for years. What else?
Do you think we should be in, let's see, what was this? Should we be in the Middle East, and did we get there under false pretenses?
I don't think we need to have a presence in the Middle East, which we have with Israel. I do not believe we need to be forcing ourselves into all the other countries there. You know, we've got Jordan, we've got sort of Saudi Arabia, but our mainstay is Israel. But we do not need to expand our presence in the Middle East. We do not need to be in Afghanistan. We do not need to be in Iraq. We need to stay the hell out of there. What else?
I'm trying to scroll down. Karen, text. I'm putting my phone number again. Karen, text me, and I will get you connected to Larry, because when he gets calls, most of the time he doesn't take them unless he knows who it is. So.
And please understand, folks, I don't do that because I think I'm somebody important. It's not that at all. It's just, I've only got so much air. And I just can't anymore. I just can't talk to everybody unless, you know, it's something significant. So please go through Mary Ellen, and she will help you get to me.
Yeah, I'm sorry you have to go through me rather than going directly like we used to be able to do 3 years ago, but his health is very different from what it was. And he is spending way more hours already talking to important people, and with the work he's doing, he's got to focus on that. And so unless he knows for sure who's calling and why, you know, he has to let calls go. So he doesn't have time for the number of people that want access to him.
Yeah, now you said something that's wrong. You know, I'm busy talking to important people, folks. I consider all of you important. All of you are very important to me.
Yes, thank you.
But it's just that I have to just truly, you hear my throat now, I have to allocate my phone time to where I got some breaks every once in a while. So please forgive me, but I can't take every call.
Yeah.
I just can't. But it's not because Mary Ellen knows it. I mean, she just misspoke, but it's not because I don't consider you as important as the President of the United States, because I do.
Oh, I know that is absolutely true, and I definitely misspoke, and in the way I said that. And I mean, if he was struggling, he'd probably refuse a call from the president himself just because he has to. So I just, you know, Larry has things that he has to take care of with his health. So there's another question about military raids. You've answered that many times, and so Larry,
what is it? What is the question?
Military raid ? You know, can't military raids be done to help get these people?
No, they can't. Number one, the military cannot function inside the borders of the United States of America because of posse comitatus. So we cannot use the military on American soil. What else?
Jason asks, why isn't our shadow government smart enough to be paying dozens of people like Jason, Larry, and George Webb to provide daily news to both the left and right?
Say that again. Why?
Why doesn't the deep state pay you and Jason and people like that to provide daily news for the left and the right?
Well, the only thing I can tell you is the deep state does not like me, but that's okay because I don't like the deep state. So I'm against the deep state. They're not going to hire me. They might try to hire me to get me to spread disinformation, but I hope y'all know I would never do that. The closest that they have come to making such an offer to me was Bill Clinton when he was running for president the first time. And I had broken the majority of the stories at that time about him and his Jennifer Flowers and the different women. And they sent David Watkins to my home right out in my front yard. Pastor Ernie Sanders was here when this went down. If you don't believe me, he'll verify it. And David Watkins came and presented me with a cashier's check from Perry County Bank for $1 million. And to be honest, I would have taken it because at that period of time, my mission was simply to get paid back for the damages that he had done to me and my family. And I would have taken it. I'll be honest, I would have taken it. But I read the agreement, and the agreement said that I had to say that I lied, that all the things that I had said was a lie. And I couldn't do that. I couldn't do it. Now, if they'd have said, all you got to do is just shut up and don't talk anymore, I would have done it in a heartbeat, and I would have been better off for it, except for one thing. The country would have been in worse shape. So I'm glad they worded it the way they did, and I'm glad I didn't take it. Because had I taken it, by the way, I would have honored what I said. And they knew it.
Mm-hmm. You have described this in 28 Years to Nowhere, which you can buy at nicholslive.com.
Mm-hmm.
And I have heard Pastor Ernie verify that that event happened. It's in the book. I knew it had happened because it was in the book, but Pastor Sanders has himself verified it on the radio. Are you able to take any more, or should we stop? Because it's
No, take them, let them rip.
okay. Do you know about the Manna World Hold and Trust and their behind-the-scenes support of Trump and offer to replace the Fed and pay off our national debt?
Do not. Know nothing about that.
Okay. When will the mainstream media be held accountable?
Well, I guess the honest answer is they won't. They will not. The only way they're ever going to be held accountable is when en masse people stop paying for their publication or getting their publication, stop reading their stuff, and the advertisers stop supporting them because they have no viewers. But that's the only way that will come.
So there's more questions about military tribunals and the apparently somebody's put out that they're being held at Fort Meade. And Jane asks, wouldn't posse comitatus be an exception rather than the rule to stop military action?
Well, it's the rule, not the exception. It's the law. They cannot intercede inside the borders of America. What else you got?
Somebody is thinking these questions are too lightweight and would rather hear what's on your mind than answering this. Jane, there is on nicholslive.com, the website, there is a link to the, if you look under the donation page, right at the top of the donation page is the link to his PayPal. I'm going to put it in right now as well. His PayPal account is nicholslive@aol.com. And the website, nicholslive.com, has a link to the PayPal. It has his mailing address for sending cash only. He cannot cash checks of any kind. And there is my cell phone number. You can call me and we can help you find other ways to donate if those two don't work for you.
Yeah, and you need to get the difference in the PayPal and the email. PayPal is nicholslive@aol.com. And the email is just Nichols. What is it?
The website is just nicholslive.com, but his PayPal is nicholslive@aol.com.
There we go. There we go.
Yep. Did I say it the wrong way? Sorry.
No, I think you did it right. I did it wrong.
No, that's right.
What you got now?
The last question here is Epstein dead or alive, and why haven't they confiscated or taken over the island?
I mean, he's very much dead, but why they haven't taken over the island, I don't know. I do not know.
And Tamara, the 100,000 plus indictments are not true. Larry has said that day after day after day after day after day. So what is being said about the numbers of indictments, he has said over and over again, it doesn't work that way, and that is false information.
Mm-hmm.
So Larry's voice has had enough. He needs to take a break before his next bit of work that he has to do. So thank you for those that donated to nicholslive@aol.com through PayPal. Karen, make sure you text me and let's talk about what you need and what you have available, and you know how we can get you connected to talk to him about what you can help supply. And we will talk to you tomorrow.
I'll be here, and folks, thank you. And please have a good day and pay attention to what's going on, because everything is significant and everything is important. Now, remember, Tucker Carlson does about as good a job as any as far as when he covers something, he covers it fairly. Sean Hannity is pretty much the mouth organ for Trump. So when he's saying stuff, it usually is he's getting out specifically what the Trump organization wants out. And then, of course, Laura Ingraham, she's just another host that is of conservative bent, and therefore worth listening to.
I guess we didn't answer one question well enough. Tamara, no, Jane Doe said, if there was a coup and an attempt to overthrow the government, couldn't the military intervene? That would only be in a hard coup with tanks and everything, right?
Yeah, to be honest, that is a question that I must research the answer. If it were an honest to God, violent coup attempt to overthrow the government. Now, the coup that we've got going on now is a coup to get rid of Trump. Got it? They want the government left the way it is, which we don't want.
You mean, I thought you've said over and over again that they want to overthrow the government or change our form of government, but they want to stay in power as they are.
Right.
Yeah, Larry, we need to stop. You're ready to pass out, so I'm going to let you go.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Okay.
And thank you, Sandra. I just got 25 from Sandra, so thanks.
Thanks, everybody.
All right, guys. Have a good day.
Okay, Larry. Get some rest. And yeah, hopefully he doesn't have another half the night phone call tonight that he has to keep going. Thanks for being here, folks. I'm going to get back to what I need to do as well. God bless you, and we will talk tomorrow. Thanks. Bye.